question is, are you getting value for your investigative dollar? And I think, according to our last fraud report, the answer to that is a pretty resounding no. My view on this is that there are inefficiencies built into the way that most investigative firms do their business that can basically be summed up in using yesterday's technology to solve today's problems. The most expensive part of a complex investigation, as borne out by a fraud report survey, is document review. Document review basically means looking at structured and unstructured data and figuring out what's relevant in all of that. That has traditionally been done on e-discovery platforms with techniques like search terms. If you do that, you're going to be burning money. You're not going to be getting value. And the truth is, the surprising truth is that that is still the way that most firms do their business. There is really no reason to do it that way anymore, with some rare exceptions. And so, to boil it down to one sentence, the challenge of modern day investigations is to pull meaning out of huge volumes of data.
So from my perspective, the two areas that cause this inefficiency or the cost of investigations going up are, one is the volume of data. The growth of electronic information in an organization is exponential. The digital transformation of the ability to talk to a customer, the ability of chat messages and WebEx communications for employees, the user experience for customers with apps, all that information that's being stored on the back end in companies causes a wealth of disparate types of data and content of data that's growing in an organization. So when an investigation kicks in, to understand where to fact find efficiently across that data set is a monumental task. And two, without understanding or having a governance framework, every time you have an investigation, you're recreating the wheel and understanding the data for a specific issue. Whereas if you have a governance policy, you understand the data, you understand the controls around that data, you classify that data as soon as it's created in an organization, you start making decisions on the data preemptively before an investigation happens. If you're able to harness the information from one investigation into the next investigation, wouldn't that be valuable? Wouldn't it be helpful to know that you've already mapped the data that relates to all your ERP environment or your payroll systems or your general ledger that talks about payments to third parties, the things that typically get involved in an investigation for a company, you start learning behavior about yourself. So once you start understanding your unique processes, you understand your unique compliance requirements, you start seeing a pattern in your investigations. When you can start harnessing that information about the decisions based on the data that was collected in the first investigation, the type of analysis that was used, the decisions made by investigators and lawyers, if you can store that information rather than recreating that wheel every time, you can start using the benefits of AI and machine learning to make the downstream investigations further, more efficient. You can get intelligence on your data before an investigation starts to see if it's worth going through the effort of an investigation. You can start thinking about joining unstructured communications with structured data to make sure that you're really getting to the fact as fast as possible and most efficiently as possible.